That paycheck is just a period in your life. Don't you ever get satisfied with minimum wage. You ought to look at your paycheck and get mad if it don't match what you work. And be like, you know what? I ain't gonna stay here. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I know this is not my destiny. But when I became a man, after having been arrested, I gotta put that in there. After having been arrested, I decided that that was not the life that I wanted, you see, for the rest of my life.
What's going on, everybody? This is Troy Wynn, pastor, author, and transformation coach, and I'm happy today to share with you something that is really blessing and helping and transforming a whole gang of people. I'm talking about gangs of people. And it's my book simply entitled Unleash the Power Inside. We released this book earlier this year, and I tell you, we were not prepared for the impact that it was going to have and the impact that it's having on everyday people's lives. I am so proud of this product, so proud of this book, and I'm proud of what it's doing. I'm proud of how it's causing people to have an awakening that is just beautiful to watch, an awakening that's triggering a transformation. And I wanted to go through this book today with you, chapter by chapter, just to give you the chapter headings and to tell you a little bit what it's about. And then at the end of this quick video, I'll tell you how to get your hands on this book, because this is a must-read, have-to-read book for those people who are serious about being all that they were supposed to be, about becoming the person they were supposed to become, and simply about living a powerful life. I have a phrase that I have etched in my spirit. I say it almost every day, several times throughout the day, and it's simply dominate every day. I believe in the philosophy, I believe in the theory, I believe in the theology that we are not here to be dominated, but we are here to dominate, and not dominate each other, but to dominate every circumstance, every distraction, every situation that has the audacity to try to come against us and stop us from being great. Let me tell you about chapter 1. Chapter 1 is simply entitled, oh man, this book is awesome. It's simply entitled, Discover the Power Inside. Now, chapter 1, I go methodically and I take the time to teach you about the power of discovery, because you can't do anything with the power that's inside of you if you've never discovered it. You can't manifest it. You can't leverage it. You can't use it if you haven't discovered and you haven't concretized the fact that there is power coursing through your being. But you have to discover it. And when you discover something, it generally takes some effort. It takes some searching. It takes an analytical eye to look for something that someone has told you exists. I promise you, chapter 1 is the beginning of a phenomenal journey that's going to transform your life as we teach you how to discover the power inside. Well, after you discover the power, you got to do something with it, which brings us to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is entitled, Develop the Power Inside. See, the premise is this, that the power is in you, but that power has to be developed. That power has to be understood. That power has to be held in such a way that you know exactly what you're doing. If not, it's not going to bring back the results. It's not going to catapult your life forward because you didn't take the time to develop it. Much like muscles, we all have muscles, and this is talked about in the book. Every individual watching this video has muscles, but there's some people that are more muscular than others. These are generally the people that go to the gym. These are generally the people that work out. These are generally the people who eat a particular diet. These are the individuals who have taken the fact that they have muscles to the next level, and they decided they're going to develop that which they have. Well, chapter 2 executes this principle flawlessly, and it'll teach you how to take that power that you have inside of you and develop it. Many people ask, well, if I've got this power, why isn't it working for me? And why isn't it advancing my life? Why am I still stuck in some of the same places I've been stuck in the last 5, 10, 15 years? It's simple. The power is in you, but it's your responsibility, it's your duty to develop it. But after you develop it, then chapter 3 rolls right into place, because chapter 3 is entitled Deploy the Power Inside. You see the thread here? First we discover it, then we develop it, then we deploy it. Now the word deploy simply means to send strategically to a particular place to perform a particular function. See, power is nothing if it doesn't have direction. Power is nothing if it doesn't have a strategy, if it doesn't have a mission. And your power has to be deployed, much like a military army that has to go into a particular place to rescue hostages. Well, they've got to have intel to know where the hostages are. They've got to be covert in their operation, and they've got to be at the right place to do and fulfill the mission that they've set their hearts and minds to fulfill. Well, your power is just like a military army. You are the commander-in-chief, and you have to know how to deploy it, how to send it, how to operate it. This book is going to show you how to do that. And I mean, that's just chapters 1, 2, and 3. But wait a minute, it gets better. Chapter 4 is one of the chapters that really blessed my life 15 years ago when I discovered this concept. And it's simply entitled, Your Habits Are Like Rabbits. Now, if you know anything about rabbits, rabbits are known for multiplying. They are one of the fastest, quickest multiplying creatures on this planet. And what we do is we take a metaphorical perspective and we compare the reproductive ability of rabbits to the reproductive ability of your habits. Simply stated, in this book we talk about how habits multiply with or without your effort. Good habits multiply and reap good habits. But if you got bad habits, they generally produce more bad habits. And you've got to become a master of your habits. Chapter 4 will help you get a handle on your habits, help you understand those habits, and help you understand how you can use the multiplication factor of habits for your benefit. Because if they're going to multiply anyway, wouldn't it be smart for you and me to direct the direction of the multiplication of our habits? In other words, wouldn't it be smart for you and me to make sure that we're multiplying good habits instead of multiplying bad habits? Chapter 4, another game changer. Then chapter 5, simple chapter, but a powerful chapter because it's simply entitled, Energy is Everything. In chapter 5, I lay out for you how important energy is, how important it is for you to monitor your energy, manage your energy, and be a man or a woman who's really focused in understanding how to balance their energy, how to invest your energy and not waste your energy with people, places, or things that are really irrelevant as it relates to your destination or as it relates to who you are becoming. Energy is everything, and I'm an energetic person. Everything that I do is backed up by energy. Another word for energy is passion. And you really want to read this chapter because a lot of people can really alter their lives in a positive way simply by tapping into sources of energy. Energy is everything. And I promise you, this chapter is going to boost you. I guarantee you. Then chapter 6, my favorite chapter. One of my favorite chapters. It's entitled this, chapter 6, Your Perspective is Selective. Now I got to tell you something. Chapter 6 is one of the main game-changing keys that literally took me from a nobody to somebody. Took me from the bottom to the top. Changed my finances, changed my relationships, changed my connections, changed my success and my success rate. It was this concept, this belief, this understanding that our perspective is selective. And I go into this book and I tell you flat out that your perspective is one of the most powerful things that's locked up inside of you. And if you're not using it to your advantage, it will automatically default to being used to your disadvantage. How you see things, how you interpret circumstances dictates everything in your life, everything that comes to your life, and everything that goes out of your life. This chapter changed my life phenomenally, and I'm excited about you reading this chapter and really grasping the concept that you have this power, the power to choose your own perspective. Whoa, man, I'm telling you, game-changing chapter. But we can't get stuck there. We got to go on to chapter 7. Now, chapter 7 is one of those chapters that you have to read chapters 1 through 6, because chapter 7, I take you on a journey into my cerebral cortex. I give you Polaroids of how I think, and I think differently from most people. That's been my advantage my entire life, and I want to share this thinking with you because if you can grasp this thinking, it'll become your advantage as well. It's entitled, chapter 7, We Are Superhuman Beings. I got to say that again. Chapter 7 is entitled, We Are Superhuman Beings. Now, you got to read this chapter because this chapter takes your mind on a journey. It really pulls back the curtain of how we see ourselves, and it really shows us the true factual fact that we are more than just human beings, that we are superhuman beings on this planet called Earth. And I'm telling you, I like this chapter because it talks about one of my favorite superheroes. I won't tell you who it is. You'll find out when you read the book. And it shows you that you and I were the first superheroes. Marvel has nothing on the power that resides in you and me. I'm excited about chapter 7. I'm excited about you reading it. I'm excited about you understanding that you are a superhuman being so that you can stop allowing the villains in this life to defeat you, because you are supposed to win every single time. Chapter 8, the purpose of the power inside. Now, chapter 8 is important because you can know you have power, you can develop it, you can deploy it. But if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will always abuse the thing that you don't know the purpose of. So purpose is very important. Purpose is one of those principles that we sometimes skip because we're so excited about things in life. But if you don't know how something is supposed to operate, you can actually harm yourself. Or even worse, you can harm other people. That's how powerful you are. You've got enough power in you to harm yourself and harm other people if you don't know the purpose of it. But once you know the purpose of this power, guess what? You also have the power to help yourself. And then you've got the power to help a whole lot of people. That's the purpose of the thing. Then chapter 9, where do we go from here? Chapter 9 talks about the fact that now that we've got this information, now that we have this great revelation, this tremendous understanding, what do we do with it? Do we read the book and then put it on the shelf and go to the next book? Or do we, read the book and highlight it and think about it for a month and then toss it to the side? Or do we take this information and implement it into the foundation of who we are from this day forward? See, this is not one of those one-hit-or-quitter books where you read it and then you're done. This is a book that you read it, you believe it, you don't try it, you apply it for the rest of your life. And what you will experience is that your life will shift dramatically because you have a strategy, you have a plan, and above all things, you have an understanding of the power that resides inside of you. So the question is asked, where do we go from here? I'll tell you, after you read this book, you go onward, you go forward, and you go upward. That's the power of unleashing the power inside. And then last but not least, chapter 10 actually came about after I was done writing the book. I had written the book, put the finishing touches on it, and then I heard my readers asking me this question. I heard readers asking me this question even though I had not published the book. And the question that I heard readers asking after they had read chapters 1 through 9 was this question: what about my limitations? See, anytime somebody starts talking about our greatness, anytime somebody starts telling us what we're capable of doing, it is the natural human default to disqualify ourselves because we have a horrible habit of looking at our past, trying to evaluate our future. So when I tell you you have power, I tell you that you have the ability to develop this power and to deploy this power, and that you are a superhuman being and you have the authority and the right to dominate every day. Question comes up, well, what about my limitations? What about my handicaps? What about my hang-ups? What about my hurts? Surely these things will prohibit me from exercising this power that you talk about. Let me tell you something. Chapter 10 is your friend, because chapter 10 will annihilate every excuse that you thought you ever had not to be great. Chapter 10 will annihilate every reason that randomly comes to you to tell you why you cannot turn your life around. Chapter 10 is your friend because it addresses what we perceive as limitations, and it teaches you some very profound principles that when you know it, you use it, and you recognize that the only thing that was limiting you all along was the sheer belief that you believed you could be limited. Chapter 10. Now listen, I want you to get this book. Many of you have already purchased it, and I'm elated, I'm blessed, because this book has done phenomenally well since I released it at the beginning of this year. I am blown away at the copies that it sold. I'm blown away at how it continues to sell. I'm blown away at how word of mouth is creating a ripple effect of readers who are responding, not just to the content, but they're responding to the revelation and applying it to their lives. They're seeing transformations happen in their finances, in their families, in their faith. It's happening all across the board because this book is a game changer. Listen, go to Amazon.com if you want to download the book and get a digital copy. You can do so at Amazon.com. Simply type in the title, Unleash the Power Inside, and download it for $9.99. And the book is yours to read on your Kindle device, your tablet, or however you read digital books. It'll be there within a matter of seconds. Now, if you'd like a physical copy of the book, you can go to my website at www.troywynsenior.com. That's www.troywynsr.com. And there's a page where you can order the book, and this book will be mailed to you within a matter of days. $15 is the cost of the actual book. $9.99 is the cost of the electronic download via Amazon.com. Listen, this book is a game changer. After you've read it, do me a favor, write a review, send us a message, let us know how this book has impacted your life, and you can join the legion of others who are being transformed, who are being changed, and who are unleashing the power inside, and they're really experiencing a phenomenal difference in their life. This is the book that you need to read. You need to get a copy for your kids so that they can grow up with this wisdom and knowledge. Get a copy for your friends so that they can have this wisdom and knowledge. Get a copy for anybody that you know that's a progressive individual, that you know has more potential in them than maybe they understand. You can look at them and tell there's more to them. You can look at them and tell that there's a power inside of them, but maybe they haven't quite figured it out. This book will unlock the cell that many people are in prison in, and they will recognize that freedom really does exist, but it begins on the inside. Well, this is Troy Wynn, Senior, Pastor, Author, and Transformation Coach. Thanking you for your time. Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for your support. Stay tuned because there's so many more wonderful things coming after this book and coming because of this book. And you want to be a part of the movement because there's some great things coming for those of you that have read the book that we'll be announcing in the up and coming months. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. It's time for you to unleash the power inside.
That paycheck is just a period in your life. Don't you ever get satisfied with minimum wage. You ought to look at your paycheck and get mad if it don't match what you work. And be like, you know what? I ain't gonna stay here. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I know this is not my destiny. But when I became a man, after having been arrested, I gotta put that in there. After having been arrested, I decided that that was not the life that I wanted, you see, for the rest of my life.